Hello.
Okay. Hang on.
Wow, yours is fancy.
Well, I mean, I'm the fucking shit, so I have to. I have to be.
You almost said that without laughing.
All right. You know what? I'm a very confident man. Speaking of confident man,
Yes.
this shirt is new, but I feel weird in it.
No.
Because it's still medium.
Uh-huh.
So it's like I'm fitting into a medium, which is cool, but now I still kind of feel like fats. I feel a little fat
No.
in this
You look
shirt.
great. You don't look. It looks. I've had similar issues of changing body sizes, and then you go for a more fitted look, and it's
Right.
fitted, but you're like,
Not used to that.
yeah, you're like, is it fitted on my muffin top? Is it fitted in good places or like the places that I still am working on? You know?
Right. I'm so used to. I was talking to a friend yesterday, and I'll get to your other question in a second. But I was talking to a friend yesterday, and she was like, "Yeah, I mean, part of the reason why you feel weird is that you're not hiding anymore." And I'm like, "What do you mean not hiding anymore? I don't think I hid behind 100 more pounds of fat, but I guess I did. You know what I mean? Like I used it as some sort of a security blanket of some kind, but now it's just like much more raw me, and there's a less of a space in between what I think and what I say. I mean, obviously tact-wise, sure, but like there's less of a space in there, you know, for me to editorialize and beat the shit out of myself and hide myself, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if
Right.
that
I mean,
was
you
your
could do it.
experience
You
with
can do it
too.
in other ways. You know.
And I
It's
do.
just
now I hide behind this weird small shirt.
right. Now I just have to talk about my shirt all the time.
Right. Did you see how confident I am, by the way? Hello,
You're-
person at a party. I'm confident. Have you seen this shirt?
This is my new shirt. How do you think it makes me feel? Am I
That's
showing
what-
off my confidence?
Right.
Do you think I look confident in this?
Do you
Let's
think?
be
do you
Facebook
think-
friends.
Do you think I look confident in this? Son of a bitch. That is my life. Holy shit, that is my
I
life.
just knocked you down to one sentence.
Oh. It used to be Moochie
One
Little Puke,
question.
but that
Moochie
actually
little puke.
Moochie
Moochie.
Little Puke.
Like
Actually,
mochi
you know what?
or like moochie?
No,
Oh, moochie, like
mochi,
I
like
need to borrow.
I was made of Asian ice cream. That's that's not.
I was
Moochie.
wondering. Moochie, like, can I have $1?
Right,
So
that
not
kind of
Asian
moochie.
ice cream, but
No.
asking for money.
Unless I was asking for Asian ice cream.
And then you were a moochie mochi.
All right, you're gonna need to leave.
All
Ladies
right,
and gentlemen,
less than 10 minutes in, I'm already getting kicked out.
I know. Welcome to what the fuck is it? Episode 15 of Conservative. So and our guest today is Kim. Do you want to go by that? What do you want to be?
My name is Kimberly Rosewind.
Okay.
Yes, Kim is fine.
I don't know why you had to get so close into the microphone. That was a little uncomfortable.
I just
but,
like it.
So the reason why I called it Conservative is because I was talking about it with that same friend yesterday. Is that first things first? It's easier to kind of brand it. I don't know why I made this hand gesture. It's easier to brand it versus just have like this sentence long explanation about why I called it that. But I guess I called it that because it's easier. It's easier in some circles that I hang out in because I hang out in the gay community. I hang out in the comedy and music, and I hang out in all these different communities, and it's easy to
Artists
see,
and weirdos and misfits
and it's easy to see people who are conservative as demons, but I actually know some that are not demons, and I know some kind of evil ass liberals too. So it's like,
Right.
I wanted to call it, I wanted to have this spirit of most of the people I know are somewhere in the middle. Like one of the things that I've talked about is like, how come I'm not allowed to like gays and guns? You know what I mean? Like, why isn't it like, why
I like them both.
There you go. But in some communities, it's like you're problematic if
Right.
you like anything. You have to be all on one side or all on the other. And that's why I called it that because, I feel like,
Right.
most people are kind of ish.
Yeah.
Even in Oklahoma or in, when I went to Oklahoma last year, I saw gay kids running around with purple hair. Like I saw blacks and whites playing together. Like it's not a big, it's not like anywhere outside of our little bubble is just the devil and they're all racist and they're all this and they're all that. And I just like seeing people as people. And just that's why I like these conversations. It sometimes goes into politics, but sometimes it doesn't. Me and my last guest, Robbie, we just talked about a bunch of gay shit. We just talked about him we talked about poppers and explained to our audience what poppers are. We talked about him actually living in New York during 9/11, and we had some serious conversations too. But it was just about someone's experience. Someone's experience.
It's beautiful.
I know. I'm a very thoughtful man.
You are.
I know, and I'm very humble too.
Yeah, and that shirt really brings out your thoughtfulness and your humbleness. It just makes it pop. And your eyes.
Does it make me seem confident?
It
That's
does.
what. Okay, sweet. Because that's what I was talking with her about last night. It was like, I feel like girls are, all right. So like, I've lost 106 pounds, so I feel like there's more like outward attractiveness, but I don't know exactly how to handle it yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I still feel like, okay, like I don't feel like I'm looking behind me like, wait, are you looking at that guy? Like I know they're looking at me, but at the same time, I'm like, that's nice. I'm gonna still go home and eat pizza. You know what I mean?
Totally,
like that's
totally.
nice. That makes me feel good. I'm still gonna get something else and like soothe myself or reward myself with some sort of usually porn or food. That's usually what I go to these days because I don't. Obviously 16 years sober and I quit drinking in 2011, but most of the time it's food or porn.
Was 2011 16 years ago?
No, I quit smoking. I'm sorry. I quit smoking in 2011.
I was like, you just changed all the rules.
Yes, I have. No, 2002 is when I quit drinking and using.
Excellent job, sir.
Yeah, it's all my fault. But you.
Maybe I wasn't talking to you.
Were you talking to the shirt? The shirt did it, didn't it? God damn it! It all revolves around the fucking shirt now. The shirt is going to start working where I work. The shirt is going to start.
It's a good shirt.
Living outside of my experience. Do you like your water?
I haven't opened either of my waters yet.
How's your coffee?
Coffee is delicious. We're having a little coffee. We're talking. It's good.
How's your eye?
Better now.
You were riding your bicycle.
Yeah, I was riding down a hill. I live on. Maybe I won't tell the audience where I live. But I live in San Francisco at the top of a hill.
And that's all you're going to know, cocksuckers.
So I'm at the very beginning of my ride to get here, which is, 10-minute ride, 15 if you get some stuck in your eye.
Right.
But so I'm going right down the hill. First hill, just something flies in there.
Ow. And
then I just start crying out of just the one eye.
Right.
But it's the eye where all the traffic is, So I'm just...
Jesus Christ.
I'm like, I hope this is worth it,
You
And I don't know if I was talking about being alive or this show or this
exactly
shirt,
right. Holy fuck. Let's get any. I mean, do you have anything to promote to make sure that people go and find? You don't have anything to promote anymore, do you? I mean, you can talk about if you're not.
I have nothing to promote.
So I got this shirt at Target. You can get it, and then you can use it for your own.
I don't need a shirt, man. I don't even need sleeves. Look at me. I cut them off.
Yeah, I thought that before I got the shirt. Now I realize on the other side of this shirt, I've always had this shirt. I've always had it inside me. I just didn't know.
Wow. What was it like having a shirt inside you? Did you have to get it like surgically removed or did you just like poop it out?
I pooped it out.
Pooped it. Yeah. Pooped it.
I pooped it. You used to do comedy.
Mm-hmm.
Did you enjoy your experience doing that on the whole?
I did and I didn't.
Okay. How long did you do it for?
I started in 2011 and I think I quit a couple times.
Yeah, that's
last
legit.
year sometime. No, the year before. I don't know. Yeah. I start and stop things a lot. I have ADD, so I'm kind of all over the place. Just like, woo, shiny thing. Yeah, I'm fine.
So you did it on and off for maybe 4 years total or 5 years total or something like that?
It felt like much longer, but yeah, probably.
What was the first time you did it?
It was in Denver, Colorado.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I had moved there, and this guy was like, you're funny. You should do stand-up comedy. And I was like, fuck you. Am I allowed to swear on this show?
You just talked about pooping out a shirt.
Okay.
That's not exactly
I guess
family.
if there was rules, you would.
I did see that on Barney once, though. That Barney shit out a shirt.
Everybody poops is like a popular children's book. Okay, so back to my story.
Yes, ma'am.
So I was in Denver, and this guy was like, you should do comedy. And I was like, fuck you. And then I was like, all right, I'll try it. So my very first set was at this little tiny dive bar in Denver, and I was on, like, the stage was just like a pallet. Like, I don't even think they like tried to cover it up. I think it was just a wooden pallet. They're like, it's like 2 inches higher than the floor.
Right,
so they're like
right.
here, and the microphone like was all electrical taped together, and you like weren't supposed to touch it. So like my very first joke is like this blowjob joke, and I'm like trying not to use my hands, like, and it was like,
which is any good blowjob. I mean, let's just say.
I don't know if you want to tickle the balls a little, but you know what I mean. But like, it just depends on what you're into. But that's like my first joke, but nobody could hear it because of the microphone, and so. I was like, I don't even know if that was good or not. The 4 people that are here aren't doing anything.
It was an open mic, right?
Yeah, it was an open. Okay. Yeah, no, I just like went to the improv and was hey, I do comedy now. Let me in.
Right.
But yeah, after that I was hooked. I still miss it. I still like write jokes in my head, and I still talk to myself in the street sometimes. So it's just like a different audience.
Or like in the mirror, you have like a
oh no, that's way too intimate.
It's way too intimate?
Cannot watch myself while I do it. No.
Because then you'd also have to not use the mic the same way or have put electrical tape around your... I don't know. Some of my jokes aren't... I don't have to... This is my podcast, okay? I wear this shirt now.
I just meant like, personally, I don't feel good about myself to watch myself talking in the mirror. So that was actually about me a little bit, but...
I made it about me very quickly.
You because this is my podcast and this is my shirt.
No, I tried to make a joke and it flopped. And so I was trying to funnily
now you know what
defend
stand-up
myself.
comedy is like. All right, so there you go.
Actually, I did do it. I tried it once.
Oh yeah, how'd it go?
Oh, very poorly.
Oh really?
But I didn't do it the right way. So I've told the story before. But you ever heard of Tourette's Without Regrets?
I have, yes. I performed a dirty haiku there. A dirty haiku that, they have that, it's like a challenge. Right. It's like a game, like you go win a taped up dildo.
Right.
Anyways, tell your story.
So I had performed there twice before, and crowd loved it, very happy, blah, 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 blah.
What did you perform?
Music.
Okay.
I'm a singer and a guitar player. And
I was just asking because there's lots of things. I didn't know if you're a fire dancer. Like, I don't know what you do.
Dirty haiku. I do have the body of a fire dancer.
You do.
Actually anally fisted myself.
Wow.
Over a bucket.
Did you pour the juices onto the crowd?
I have. All right, we're going to transition into that later, but we'll get to that. But I was at Tourette's Without Regrets for the 3rd time, and I had practiced this whole I was going to sing a song and then do a quick comedy routine. Because I'm funny and I whatever. And I thought, okay, I could package this in a certain way, what I want to talk about a certain way. It's going to be controversial, but the last time I performed at Tourette's Without Regrets, I performed a song that would be a little controversial, but it was kind of poking fun at me and poking fun at them, poking fun at everybody. And it was like, it was done the right way with tact, and it also had a melody as well. And so people were, yay, yeah, we all suck. So anyway, I go to there the 4th time. Problem is, they had lost their liquor license during that time, so everybody in the room was either sober or had smoked their own stuff outside or drank, maybe something, but they didn't have their liquor license. The big opera hall or whatever didn't have their liquor license, and it was kind of bright, and it was just, I sang the song, and already I felt weird. I was a little in my head, and I'm like, this is not gonna go well, but and so I sang the song. To get everybody I sang The Little Mermaid, because sometimes I sing Part of Your World, and girls like it, and everybody likes it. And then as soon as I take off my guitar, I suddenly was like, holy shit, I'm now naked. Like, now I'm like, it's just me. I don't have anything to hide behind. And I went into this routine, and I missed a couple of sentences, and I totally stumbled over myself.
Yeah.
And the first part of the premise, to the first part of it went okay. It was, some people chuckled, but and I knew what I was saying was controversial. Like, I shouldn't do this without being prepared. Or at least, and I didn't realize it until later, I should try it out somewhere instead of.
Yeah. Well, that's the hard thing about comedy is it's like, you have to tell your jokes over and over again to make them seem natural, to make it seem like you're just like, oh yeah, this is just happening, when really you've practiced it 8,000 times. So like by the time it's like reaching its peak, you already hate it so much because you've said it like 8,000 times. And so you're just like, cool, I'm glad you guys finally caught up and see how funny I am now. I fucking don't like this joke anymore.
Right, but not just you have to practice it, but you have to practice it in front of other people. And you have to, when it doesn't get a certain reaction, you have to workshop it and tweak it into okay, now what am I going to do?
Right.
Maybe I'd move this word over here.
Right.
It's not like you can just practice it in the room. Like my guitar, I can practice it in the room and write the lyrics down, and I know it's funny, and there's no space for me in the middle of the song to know. I mean, there is, because people laugh or people, are bobbing their head or whatever, but there's no, the musician doesn't give a fuck. Like, there's no feedback right there during the middle of the song.
They're going to
applaud, either clap
or
you're not.
Right.
And so, with that, I did it, and then they're not the type of people to boo. Like, they tell them intentionally, no booing.
Mm-hmm.
But I literally said my last line, and then it was just like it was like they intentionally.
Oh, that's such a California thing to do.
It really is.
Like, you're terrible.
Right. Partially, also some of the things I was saying. Oh, did you try a thing?
Oh, look at you trying.
Yeah, the rest of us we don't need to try. But the rest of the audience already had shirts like this. They were born with shirts like this. They had shirt privilege.
Or they're just so insecure they'll never try anything, and they just always want to be the audience judging people,
Yeah. Cocksuckers.
No, but that crowd is hard. Like, I did, when I did the Dirty Haiku battle, the person I went up against is this super funny comedian. Her name's Alexandria Love. You should check her out. She's super funny. But she was like, yeah, I stalked you on Facebook. I found out who you are, all this stuff. Like, she looked me up to write all these haikus.
Right.
And so she really got into me. And I was like, oh, this is going to be fun. Whatever. I'm just going to say some stuff and it's going to be great.
Right.
And so I didn't really say anything.
Right.
And then it was terrible.
Right.
Like, I didn't practice it. I didn't she won. She kicked my ass. I think I only won one of the haikus, but it was, you have to practice, and you have to, research is good. Knowing
research
facts is good.
But the 3 times I went, she was one of the contenders every time, and
she just kept winning.
And she is funny, and I've seen her in other things. She is very funny, but, and maybe this might be a little, and obviously you can not agree or whatever, but I feel like...
Thank you. I'm a woman. I'm allowed to have an opinion.
I have a fucking shirt.
Okay.
Listen to what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, I feel like the people she went up against were also... I feel like they put themselves in a cage of I can't say anything about her too much because she's black. I know that's a little weird, but it seemed like the white girls, this kind of... I don't want to... I would have made... not obviously hurtful or anything, but she can go against anybody and make it racial or say something dorky about them being dorky, but there's no way for somebody who's a skinny white girl. The last time I saw her was a skinny white girl, and I don't think she was honestly, I do not think she was as funny as Alexandria Love. Alexandria Love is fucking funny for sure.
Yeah,
but it was also there's this weird tone where it's just and it is a weird crowd too, where it's okay, we're happy to be offensive, and he says it up at the front. We're an offensive show, if you get offended, don't boo. These
fault.
People are right. At the same time, I think that skinny little white girl kind of put her own muzzle on just in case. And I'm maybe not just for that show, but I mean, you know what I mean? I don't know. I thought about it. I thought about a joke later about saying something. I don't know. Did you see any of that?
Was the joke racist?
No, not really.
I didn't. I have only been to Tourette's without regrets the one time I performed because
it's not.
Usually I was roller skating on Thursdays, but whatever. I have been that white woman who, you know what I mean? Yes.
Right.
Oh, I should be funny and edgy, but
not too edgy, not too funny.
Right. Mm-hmm. Well, but then it's also also, I'm not racist. I mean, I'm probably whatever. That's a lot to unpack.
Sure,
you know what I mean?
But
it's
we feel
I should be edgy but not racist. Which is true. It's 100% true. Yes.
Yeah, but
also
a racist joke doesn't mean racist. You know what I mean?
Right, but it's also it kind of does because you're adding to the our language, the way we communicate. It's what builds our society. And so, am I putting more racist things in, or am I fighting against that? You know what I mean? That's
maybe.
And even if it's just a joke, or even if it's just whatever, right. Or maybe it's a joke that starts a conversation that then people are talking about it.
Sure.
I don't know. I just feel like there's always
right.
line.
No, there may be, and especially in that crowd, and it wouldn't have been appropriate to do. So, like, the joke that I was doing actually wasn't racist. Like, the joke that I thought about, and no offense to Alexandria Love, but I was going to say something about her looking like Harpo from The Color Purple. Do you remember Oprah in that movie?
Uh-huh.
Well, it's not funny now. I don't even know if it was funny then. But I feel like that wouldn't have landed, even even outside of that setting. It wouldn't have landed with that crowd, because it's like, you shouldn't go for. But you can make fun of that skinny white girl, or especially a white dude, all fucking day long. You know what I mean? You can help with that conversation. Right. You know what I mean? I just feel as a I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It feels a little weird to me that. I think you're right. You know, like when that group. You've only had like half of that coffee, haven't you?
I just enjoy being right.
I think you're right in that. I feel like people know. I feel like people know better. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like obviously it's a touchy subject of all that stuff, but I feel like if someone says a racial joke. But I know that they're not racial. Like, I kind of, like, I feel you. But you know what I mean? I feel you.
How do you know? You know what I mean? Like, what we say and what we do, like...
Right.
How are they different? I mean, we thought Cosby was just, like, a great dad figure, you know?
Sure. Yeah. Well, I guess...
Like, how do you know if somebody's racist or not? You know, like, I didn't know Louis C.K. was, like, being weird in his dressing room, you know?
Right.
Like,
I guess my fight is more for... Or my fight... the reason why it feels
your
weird
platform,
to me,
your soapbox.
Yeah. Now that I have the authority of the show, which, by the way, I was thinking, like, I should now that I'm not 315 pounds, I can go into like Buffalo Exchange and buy shit. So I still went to Target to buy the shirt because it was only like $20, 24. You know, and I'm like, you know what? I'd rather. Oh no, this one.
At least a $26 shirt.
This one is actually at. This one is at a very chic. Well, I don't know if it's chic anymore, but Uniqlo. Is that still chic? I'm not plugged into the streets.
I don't know.
But yeah, that's where I got this. But I guess my thought is like, if it's for a joke. So I had Pollo Del Mar on, and Pollo Del Mar is, you know, an activist for, you know, lots of. She's this big old drag queen. Do you know Pollo? Mm-mm. She's fucking super funny.
All right, I'll check her out.
And you know, when she's in the moment saying all kinds of fucking jokes, you know what I mean? Sometimes. I had her on the podcast, and she's obviously very liberal, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But she, at a comedy show, for she was doing it for free in order to give to this charity.
So it's for a charity, yeah.
She said the joke, I'm going to butcher it, but the gist of it was, I'm so, like, nobody's fucking me, is what she's saying. She's like, nobody, my sex life is so shitty, I'm actually thinking of eating some Jell-O. That's what, like, just so that something will happen to me sexually, right?
Right.
And then she got in trouble by people saying that she was, she was making fun of rape victims, right? Uh-huh. But that audience, not only did they all laugh, except for, I guess, one person who just wanted to get a bee in their bonnet. Right. I like that I said bee in the bonnet, by the way. I'm very proud of myself. You almost... Okay. I could see it in the blips. There's like a spike. You know, like, it was a joke about her. It was a joke about her unattractiveness. It was a joke. It was a self-deprecating, like, I understand, like, it's a thing, but it's you're at a comedy show, right? Doing for charity, right? You know what I mean? Everybody except you are laughing at that. Right. She's not making a joke about, you know what I'm saying?
Well, and see, I feel like, especially, like, for women who are, or anyone who is a victim of assault or a victim of rape or you know what I mean? Right. I feel like joking about it is a way, like, jokes ease my pain. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's a way to, like, kind of reclaim it and take it back and be like, this is mine now. I'm making it funny, even though you tried to do whatever, you know? Right. And so I feel like there is, like, I don't think a straight white dude who's never been raped should make a rape joke. I feel like that's probably wrong. You know what I mean? But I feel like if...
You said, say it one more time. You said... say if
a straight white dude who's never been raped probably should not make rape jokes.
Okay. Maybe. I don't know where the whiteness goes in, but
they're just like in the hot seat right now. Haven't you heard? It's a terrible time for white men. That's what Trump said. He's our president, and I trust him. Just kidding.
I guess. Yeah.
I guess just because. See, that's just like the comedy guy that I have in my head is like the straight white guy talking about his dick, making racist jokes, making rape jokes, like just all kinds of terrible shit.
Right.
And like, I don't want comedy to be that anymore. It's, I guess, what's in my head.
Okay.
So that's why I say that. Because he's like some sort of figure of like what comedy has always been. And I feel like it's definitely changing now, and that's fucking awesome. But
right. So like, okay. I understand that figurehead for sure. I'm trying to think of like if Pryor ever did any iffy jokes like that. I think he did. He was born in a brothel. Mm-hmm. His mom was a prostitute. Mm-hmm. His dad was a pimp. Mm-hmm. Like I feel like he would. I don't know. Like I feel like. So I guess what I mean is like, it depends on where the joke's coming from, not as their identity, but the motivation. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Meaning, if a racist says a racist joke, like that's kind of fucked up, right?
Yeah.
But usually a racist doesn't say a race joke. I from what I've seen, like
no,
they wouldn't say it on stage,
right? No,
they're serious about it.
They're
right.
like, no, this is what I believe,
and they do it with their other racist friends.
It's like a whisper. It's like,
right. Yeah. Right. And I feel like, if the person is trying to be funny, and there's different levels to that. You know, I had Mean Dave on, and he kind of talked about douchey kind of open mic comedians getting up and saying the N-word because they want to be edgy,
right?
And you're just being douchey, right?
Right.
Because someone like Louis C.K. or someone, let's take a better example, someone who, you know, someone who has cut their teeth on saying things that are like, okay, someone who's not me, getting up and saying something shitty.
They have a Netflix special, or they've made it to some point. Is that what you're saying? Like they've made it a career to some extent? Is that what you're saying? Or they've at least like done some shows?
Yeah, not just because they know how to do it more. Mm-hmm. Not done some shows. What I mean is like someone who has experienced knowing how to broach a weird subject and a touchy subject without just going in, I'm gonna be Louis C.K. and just knock shit down, or I'm gonna be Richard Pryor, I'm gonna be Carlin and just do exactly what they did. Like no, they actually spent 30 40 years knowing how to do it the right way, instead of, like I was saying, my stupid ass getting up there and going like, you know, I'm just gonna, and as soon as I take off my guitar, realizing I'm an amateur, I should put my guitar back on, but not being able to stop myself.
I mean, at least the fact that you had that awareness, though, puts you at least 100 yards in front of a whole bunch of douches, you know?
Right.
Because there's some people who are just like, I'm amazing. I had a couple beers, now I'm talking into this thing, I'm saying whatever I want, you know? It's right. I feel like that's part of the reason why I quit comedy, is I just like don't want to be around those people. Right.
Yeah, I had a lot of. I also, yeah, I don't know. It's also weird being into. I don't know if you've experienced this in certain aspects, but I've talked about it on the show too. I feel like I've gone to, shows where, like, maybe the douchey version of that, but on the female end, is some females I've seen want to be so, like, they want to stand out so much that they have to just be I can be as vulgar as the guys, where it's just like, okay, you can be, but is that honest with your belly? Like, are you being honest with yourself? Just like those guys being like, well, I'm going to be just as, you know, I can be just as, you know, edgy as Louis C.K. It was like, okay, but are you being honest with yourself?
Right. And I think that people, I mean, across the board, if you're trying to be somebody else, you're not going to come off authentic, and people aren't going to connect with you, you know? You're just going to come off as trying too hard.
Right. Did you ever feel like you did that when you were starting comedy? So you did that Denver show. Uh-huh. And then did you ever feel like in your process, you're like, you know, I'm making believe that I like this joke, or I'm making believe that I'm this character on stage, but I'm like, this doesn't feel right to me anymore, because I've certainly had that experience in my performing.
I honestly didn't try that hard. I'm a doer, not a trier. You know what I mean?
I see.
No, I didn't have that many jokes, and the jokes that I did have came right from my life.
Right.
So it's like, I don't know. Again, with the ADD and not sticking to stuff, like,
Sure.
I didn't go to that many open mics. I didn't
Right.
do that many shows.
Right.
It's so, yeah, I mean, yes, sort of, because you, like, change, grow as a person, and you, like, outgrow jokes, and you just, like I was saying, like, oh, I've told that joke a bunch of times. I don't like it anymore.
Right.
So yes and no.
Okay. Yeah, for me, I guess it was like, it came in the form of like, and I can still do it today. I still do, like, so I had to start, I mean, I was writing songs and stuff, but you can't really perform originals and get paid at the same time. So, like, as an example, tonight, I'm going to go play, 3 hours worth of covers at Amelie Wine Bar over on Polk, and make money for a couple of hours, but at the same time, it's like, I'm singing other people's songs, which is not like, oh, I'm poor me, I'm the struggling artist, because that's stupid. But it also is not. There's times where I'm performing certain songs, and I know, like I perform "Creep" as an example by Radiohead, and usually I do this dramatic, when he's run, like I hold that note and just like hold that note and hit that exact and just watch, and it's funny, and it's also I'm showing off, and it entertains people, and it's good. But at the same time, there's such muscle memory in it now sometimes where I have to literally focus myself. No, Pete, be in the present fucking moments. Like it's so, because it's so easy. Like I sing the first couple of notes of Part of Your World, and I know I'll get the certain reactions. Oh, that's so cool. Instagram, and I'm like, I know I can get certain reactions. And so it becomes too easy for me to, and it feels dishonest for me to do that stuff sometimes, you know what I mean? Where it's like, I have to like force myself to book a show where I'm just doing originals because, it becomes too easy to get, okay, I know I can get a certain amount of attention or a certain amount of approval or a certain amount of, by doing this certain song, but it's like I could be anywhere. I'm literally thinking about anything but being in this moment with these people singing this song. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Well, and I feel like that moment when you know the material, where, like, the highs and lows of where it's going to hit, where people are going to be quiet, where you want to hold on to them, like knowing that whole like rhythm and that cycle with the audience, like that's part of what makes good comedy. Right. But I think, yeah, you still do have to be there for it. You can't just like leave your body. Right.
Yeah, I was, can't remember. I think I was watching Bobby Lee at the Punchline a couple of months ago. And I know that like it was similar jokes that he's done, you know what I mean? Like, but he was in the present moment too, you know what I mean? Like, because you kind of have to be, especially if you start interacting with the crowd, you do have to be present because they're going to say things and you have to now think of other things to say, you know what I mean? You have to kind of play with them. And, so it's probably impossible to interact with the audience when you have stock lines, you know what I mean? But, I don't know. It is a weird thing where like, did you feel just like jaded from doing that? From the performing angle? Obviously you still write stuff, right?
I don't write it down, but I think it. Actually, sometimes I text myself.
Nice. Yeah.
I look at it later and I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking?
Right.
No, I didn't feel jaded about, I mean, I love being on stage. I love that interaction with the audience. Like, but it's just weird being a person who doesn't drink anymore, spending that much time in bars. Like, it just gets boring to me. Yeah. Because I'm like, I don't know. I want to go play outside. I want to.
I want to watch a movie and just eat Chinese food or something. Yeah.
No.
I don't want to. I don't like. You know what I don't like? I don't like dealing with motherfuckers at a bar. I don't like dealing with the people. You know what I mean? Because it's usually their breath. It's loud music.
It's usually their breath.
It is. They want to talk right into your face.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's loud. And so, and it's like, okay.
Yeah.
Fucking,
and like they're
stop?
stepping on your foot and like they're like all kinds of their body parts are touching you. And you're just like, I can feel you and you're in my bubble. Yeah.
Sometimes it's just people want to tell you literally how good I appreciated your comedy or I appreciated your songs or whatever. And it's like, okay, thanks, but I don't want to be in this moment with you. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, you're kind of ruining it for me. Like I just had a good set and now you're shitting on it. Cool. I'm glad you got to insert your vodka breath into my life. Thank you.
Right.
Or vodka's the one that doesn't smell right, but like gin, whiskey, whatever. Right. I don't know.
I picked up some dude yesterday and smelled a fucking car with fucking... Did you ever... When I was drinking, I would hang out with homeless people, and there's that beer smell when it's still coming out of their pores. Mm-hmm. There's something...
Fun fact, don't have to be homeless to get that smell.
There was something comforting, not comforting, but there was something like nostalgic about totally. Like I was on a bus once in San Francisco, and you go into any bus in San Francisco, you will smell urine. Uh-huh. And there was that 3-day-old urine smell, and it was actually a little like, oh, yeah. Like it kind of felt like, oh, that brings me back. I get that
sometimes too. Even I was walking home the other night, like it was real windy in the city the other night, and I was walking home, and like just the way the breeze hit my nostrils, I was just like, cocaine. Yeah, that sounds good. You know, like, I'm like, what? It's like cold and gray. I want some cocaine. You know, like, what is that feeling? That's not even, you know, it's like special, the things we remember.
Right.
And they're like, why does my brain think that's so great?
Yeah. I remember I was walking by I was living in San Jose, and I was walking by an egg, I was just going to the Snell or Cottle. I was going to the Cottle light rail. And I looked off to the side, and it was, you know, next to this kind of on-ramp, and I was like, oh, that would be a great place for a homeless camp. I was like, it's been 6 years since I drank. Why am I, why does that still like,
6 years?
It was like
16?
Well, it was back then when I was,
I
guess it was 10 years ago when I had that thought. I was like, well, that's a good place. I'm like, wait, that doesn't make any sense. Why am I still,
Yeah.
But
maybe
silly.
Maybe you just wanted to go camping.
Right. Maybe. You used to live in San Jose.
Uh-huh.
Do you like San Jose? I like South San Jose.
Yeah, I'm moving back there.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, I lost 2 jobs this year, and I've kind of gotten a little financially...
yeah, I know the feeling.
Yeah. So I'm moving to my mom's house for a little bit.
That's all right.
Yeah, I'll be fine.
Right.
I'm going to make it.
That was the weirdest way anyone's ever said that to me. I felt like I was in a movie. I'm gonna be fine. And you're like tweedling that thing like you're crocheting.
I told you that I have ADD. It's good if I like tweedle with stuff. It's either this or I'm gonna like run around the room. Like what would you prefer?
The mic doesn't move that far.
See? So I'm tweedling with this paper.
Okay.
If I knew origami, I would make you a duck.
That's very kind of you. Thank you very much. So you stopped doing comedy because you were like, all right, this doesn't feel... Like, it feels like at some point, maybe, do you ever feel like going back?
Yeah, I feel like it all the time.
What part of it?
I miss, there's something special about connecting with the audience and, like, having that interaction, and I miss my fans, you know?
Of course.
I'm just kidding. I didn't have fans.
I have so many of this podcast that...
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Well, maybe I could steal some of them.
No.
Oh, okay. It's okay. Come with me. I have cookies. Yeah, I miss that audience interaction. I miss, you know what? There's some friggin' rad, like, lady comedians and queer comedians and non-binary comedians. And, like, there's just some, like, I've met some really cool people. Like, for every shitty...
beer breather.
Every shitty beer breather, there's an amazing comedian.
Right.
So yeah, I miss them. I miss people laughing. Like I miss being on stage. Like there's something very special. Like it's a special kind of feeling.
Right.
When you're on the stage and people are in the audience and they're laughing.
Right.
I miss that.
Right. And I don't think it's just an... Because I relate to that, but I don't think it's just an ego thing. Because I've had times where I thought like that's just my ego wants to get approval.
Totally.
Not necessarily. Like when I'm in the moment and having that time with whatever that person is, they're getting benefit, I'm getting benefit.
Right.
It feels like a communal sharing, experience. It feels fucking great.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it feels like not to get too fucking self-centered and self-aggrandizing, but
okay,
it feels like
podcast.
that's true. Yeah, and these motherfuckers have heard enough. I think on the last one I said like, I got a nice dick. I could do porn. Like, and I believe that technically, but like, I know motherfuckers are rolling their eyes.
Do you always do this where you talk about your other episodes with your current episode?
Yeah, sometimes.
I'm feeling jealous.
Well, on the next one, I'll talk about you wanting to crochet me a duck. Does that feel better for you?
Origami. I
Right.
wanted to origami you a duck.
Oh yeah, that's true. What the fuck was I saying? Oh,
Tell
and
me about your dick.
the feeling, right? We could do a whole goddamn episode on my cock. But it feels like that stage experience feels like, oh, this is fucking true. It's one of the truest experiences. Like, this is what I'm here for.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, some
Totally.
motherfuckers, I have a friend who is a born accountant. He just loves doing accounting. He digs his head into those numbers and it's just like a little like excited to do, I'll do your books about this and that. Like, and my hat's off to him.
Right.
That will never be my experience.
Right.
I like doing this stupid shit. I like making the podcast and doing the, music and performing and stuff because it just feels, it feels true. It feels like this is, where I'm supposed to be and what I'm actually doing is starting to fit together like a fucking, puzzle piece or whatever.
Totally. Well, and it's like you said, it's not always about it's not always about ego. Like, it's about like the audience is there to laugh and you're making them laugh and you're having this moment together.
Right.
And you're making it together. Like, it's not even 100% you,
Right.
But yeah, and like being an adult sucks. Like, it's so rare.
Here, put the mic towards your mouth. There you go. Yeah, perfect.
Okay, those 3 centimeters really made a difference.
It does. I don't know. I
Why
have
didn't you tell me
headphones on.
that like 40 minutes ago?
No, because it was better before. Are you saying I'm the podcast equivalent of something in your eye downhill?
I'm not crying yet.
Okay. Well.
I had a point.
Yeah, I do that. You were saying it's not an ego thing because it's a shared community experience, and then
I don't know. I just missed that. Even just making you laugh, it's been fun.
Yeah.
Do
you have that experience in your? I mean, obviously you don't have comedians to hang out with, but do you have that experience in your normal friend circles and stuff?
Do I make people laugh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Do other other people make you laugh?
Sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah.
Yeah.
I like hanging out with more funnier people. But...
Yeah. No, I have a lot of, I don't think I gave my friends enough credit in that sentence. No, I have a lot of really funny friends. I don't know why I was.
When they listen to this episode, they're going to be like, what the fuck, bitch?
I'm going to get unfriended. I'm going to go from like 1,500 to 3 friends today.
I like how you just threw in that backdoor brag. I have 1,500 friends.
1,563. I don't know how many friends I have. But I don't care.
Yeah, I have to force myself not to check the stats of how many people are listening. I have to force myself because it goes up and then it goes down, and then I'll have one day that it's like, oh shit, okay, and then the next day is like, what the fuck, like 7 people listening, like what the, you know what I mean? Like I get my ego wrapped up in it, or not just ego, but I also like am like, people like this, like what, am I promoting the right way? Like, there's such a fucking, I hate doing this. I like doing it because I can do it in a funny way, but like, I get my fucking expectations wrapped up in it, man.
Well, and it's hard because like all the marketing part of it, I feel like it takes away from that feeling of like, this is true, this is right. Because you're like, now I have to convince people that this is true and right. It's like, but it's real. Like what,
But
like,
you do have to do it. Otherwise you are in open mics for the rest of your life.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're like, I either have to build my brand and like market and promote myself, or I can quit comedy and just think about it on the
But
bus.
there are I don't want to say there are forces against you, but like you do have to, I've talked about it, like I do have to pay Facebook in order to accurately promote me. To the people who chose to like my page and follow my page, don't see the things that I actually, like, they don't get to actually follow me unless I pay money.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like that's
right.
But I don't have the money to do that unless
That's Zuckerberg for you.
Unless I have more money to,
right.
You know what I mean?
So you're like, I have to go sing The Little Mermaid 12 times so I can give Zuckerberg enough money for people to listen to my podcast. Yeah, it's a vicious cycle.
Yep.
But it's also like, I feel like that's part of the reason why celebrity is so terrible.
Yeah.
It's like, why can't we all just like work a little bit and make a little bit of art on the side? You know what I mean? Like, why can't we all just be socialists? It'll be fine, you know?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know about that, but I also feel like
I feel it very strongly.
that's fine. I also feel like on the other end of that, I also feel like, you know what? It's kind of supposed to be hard. You know what I mean? Because like the people that I know, I mean, maybe it doesn't have to be quote unquote, but I feel like things that come easy don't have as much value from my personal experience anyway. Uh-huh. And there are examples of that in the artistic world as well, where people get famous very quickly and it doesn't have very much value as much as somebody who worked and fucking paid, you know, there's something to paying your dues, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And maybe before it was, you know, you had to fucking, you know, beatbox on the street and, you know, like there was the different ways to do that. But I guess our version of that, my version of that, you know, 2018's, you know, 32-year-old Pete Feliciano's version of that is I have to pay Mark Zuckerberg money in order to promote. You know what I mean? Like, it's a struggle, but I feel like there is merit to, there is added value in that, I think. And maybe it doesn't have to be that way, but.
I mean, there's value in hard work. There's value in
right.
being better at whatever you're doing. I'm just saying that the whole way that everything is structured is just
shitty.
Yeah. I mean, like, celebrity ruins people.
Yeah.
You know,
right.
It's like what you're saying, like, okay, children stars, for example, you know, child actors who just like make it blow up, have drug problems.
Right.
And then they're like on stage trying to find their tooth. You know what I mean? Like, it happens.
was someone actually trying to find their tooth?
Yeah.
Wait, who?
Corey Feldman.
He was on stage trying to find his tooth.
Well, yeah, I mean, he's in this band now, and I don't know if he's like trying to look like Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
Or if but he was performing, and he has like the long wavy hair and like the fedora, and he's like doing this whole performance, and then he's like, "Oh wait, stop, guys!" I have to, and he's trying to find his tooth. You know, like it's.
That's a bad experience.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like. You know,
or like you know, I may have talked about this, but I went to Queensryche maybe 5 years ago. I don't know why. I like that one song, Empire. Uh-huh. Anyway, I decided I would go to Queensryche because it would be, you know, kind of ironically fun. Is that? And it was like this 80s, early 90s band, kind of hair metal. Okay. So I decided, all right, I'm going to go see this cheesy ass hair metal band because, you know, it just seems like it would be fun. So I go and I see this cheesy-ass hair metal band, and everywhere in the audience, like I said, I like that song, Empire, which is off of, what, this is how cheesy, this is how corny, everyone buckle your penis in. There's the album is called Operation Mindcrime. Okay. It's the worst. But anyway, so that's what that song is on. And they were doing the Operation Mindcrime tour, where they play the whole album. And in the audience, every shirt was Operation Mindcrime Tour 2009, Operation Mindcrime Tour 2007, Operation Mindcrime Tour 1997. These motherfuckers are doing the exact same thing for year after year after year, and that song came out in 2000, in like 91, maybe 1990. Like they got whatever that was, and they're just fighting to hang on to it. They're not wanting to create
Cheap Trick's entire career. You know,
Cheap Trick?
like how many albums have they've been on the road for like literally 40 years, and like how many albums do they have? You know?
I want you. Right. And it's just like,
yeah,
that's what happens when you get something, when there's not as much value in it, I feel like, you know what I mean? There's something to that, you know what I mean? Where, and not just that, but the struggle also adds to the shit I make. When I'm angry, I make better stuff. You know what I mean? When I feel like I want people to get whatever this fucking message is, I'm more succinct and I'm better at it. When I don't feel it, I don't, you know what I mean?
You know, and like, do you want to play the same song for 30 years, you know?
Exactly.
Like, you're getting paid to play your own song. That's great, right? Is it? Or now it's just become another song that you know?
Exactly. It's because, well, for me it would be, but some people, there are different levels to like artistry. There's people who actually, you know, there are amazing guitarists, as an example, who are fucking technically proficient and beautiful and amazing, and they can maybe solo, and they're just really good, but they're not writers necessarily, right?
Right.
So they're like an amazing brush, but they're not paint. You know what I mean? Like they're not
they
the
still
actual
need the paint.
Right. And there are people who are happier than shit to just play that song over and over. You know what I mean? They could be playing for Britney just as much as they could be playing for fucking Mastodon or whatever. They don't, you know what I mean? They're happy to just do that thing.
Right.
So I guess maybe you know, to use a very pretentious word, maybe a composer wouldn't be happy with that Queensryche world, but you know, maybe somebody who's more on that, you know, paintbrush angle would be happy to do that over and over. You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
No, I get that.
So you also did Derby.
Mm-hmm.
What was that like? When did you start that?
2006.
Okay. What was the drive?
I quit doing meth and I had to do something else.
Seems like a natural progression. And so you were like, I think I could beat some bitches up. Was that part of like you want to elbow some people in the?
Well, see, this is the thing is like I always wanted to be in a band, and I never like could play music. Like I you know what I mean? And I was like, I just wanted to be a part of like a group of people doing rad stuff. You know? And I was like, all right, I don't even get this, but okay, I'm in, you know? Because in 2006, roller derby was really just starting again.
Okay.
That was like 2004, 2005 were kind of the beginning, and then 2006, it's like, okay, we're doing this. And so I'd like kind of heard about it, and I was like, whatever. And then a friend of mine was like, actually, she was a friend of a friend at the time, was like, oh, I got to go. I have to go to roller derby practice. And I was like, take me with you.
Nice.
So she was driving from San Jose to Oakland to go to practice.
Yeah.
And so I just like showed up there, and they were like, oh, if you want to try out, this is like the last night for this season. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll do it. And I'm just like wearing jeans and a a white tank top.
A wife beater, yeah. It's okay. It's all right.
And so I like borrow roller skate. I had like those like roller rink skates, you know, the like brown ones with like the orange clay wheels. Like, so I'm wearing those and like
from someone else.
And, well, because
there's
and, like,
got to be less feet funk on girls. I mean, less, not as much as a dude's feet funk.
Right, but these were like roller skates from a roller derby rink, and a roller skating rink, and I have pretty big feet, so there could have been dude funk in there too. It could have been just years of funk on my feet.
That's true. The funk of 40,000. That's a Thriller line. Sorry, continue.
And so so I'm wearing those skates, and like I borrowed all the pads, and I don't know what I don't. It could have been like a bike helmet. Like I don't know what was happening. So I'm just. And I'm just terrible, right? Like, it's just awful. And but there was
just
like
on the skates or just in general?
Well, yeah, I'm a terrible person, but like,
as you're still playing with the napkin, where it feels like
I have two napkins.
It feels like you're making animal crackers. Continue.
Hello, I'm a little wiener dog. Oh,
that one, no, I feel like that's I feel like that's more of a wiener. All right, I was gonna say rhino, but that does feel like a wiener dog. That's definitely a fucking... That's never-ending story, Snail. Continue.
Oh, maybe this could be the dog.
Holy
Falcor.
Shit.
Okay.
We have to find a horse to drown.
I'll make one. Give me 20 minutes.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, so I sucked at roller derby. Like, I don't know why I stuck with it for so long. I was terrible.
The whole time?
No, I got better. Okay. But it was like...
That's probably why.
Yeah. Again, with the thing where I'm like trying, but not always, you know?
Yeah.
I go through periods I could try for like about 3 months, and then...
I'm pretty sure you're the only human who does that.
Yeah. I'm special.
Yeah. So you started, but what was the drive to make you want to get better? You were like, I just like being a part of this group and being a part of something rad type of thing?
So you're roller skating around and people are hitting you. You have to hit back. Like you have to learn how to do that, you know?
Right.
So I think, just being around a bunch of competitive women was awesome, and they're all pushing themselves to get better, and it's just kind of contagious.
Did you ever mosh? You like moshing?
Oh, yeah.
I love moshing so fucking much. I just like beating people and like getting that, bruises
and shit. Yeah, totally. Well, and I've been going to shows since like I was a kid, so and I like smaller shows. See, this is another reason why I don't like celebrity, like too many people in one spot and it's all sweaty. Right. No, I like Gilman Street. There's like 12 people here. Plenty of space, maybe 20.
You can't mosh with only like...
Okay. There could be enough to mosh, but like then I need some space.
Right. You want to mosh and then space and then mosh again.
Yeah. Okay. And I went through a lot of different phases. Like I had like a rockabilly phase and a psychobilly phase and a punk rock phase and whatever. And during the height of my rockabilly phase, my friend used to make fun of me because I would spend all this time like doing my hair in like this like vintage pompadour style, or like whatever, the curl, whatever.
Right.
And then I would go into the mosh pit and just like destroy it within 20 minutes. And he was like, "Why do you like just?"
So rockabilly's mosh?
No. But I was like very into that style.
Oh, right.
But then I would go to a punk show.
I see.
But I still had to do my hair.
Right.
You know what? Being 19 is confusing. Okay.
I like how you said that to me like I was antagonistic. I was like, "What the fuck? Why are you doing two different things?"
I can like different kinds of music. I go to different kinds of shows.
Did you ever if you were in the punk, especially in the San Jose area, did you ever go to Kulo Aboka? Do you know that punk band, Kulo Aboka?
Does that mean what I think?
Yes, it does. Ass to mouth. Yeah.
So ass to mouth transaction.
So there was this band Kulo Aboka, and so it was this. I
can't believe I missed them. That's amazing.
Bass, guitar, drums. I don't think they play really anymore. Every once in a while they'll post something to Facebook, and it's usually like they had somebody. They'll just post like offensive, kind of punky kind of memes or videos.
On Facebook? Last one, how weird.
I don't know. But anyway, so it's three guys who usually, the backing were like, they put on little misfit, makeup, and one looked like a zombie or whatever, Frankenstein. And then two singers. One was a little luchador. He no shirt, spandex pants, Mexican wrestling mask, and he'd jump around and he sang like that. And the other singer, her name was Fista No Gag Reflexa.
Excellent.
And she would wear like panties, bra, high heels, and that big, hair, and she would just do high kicks and scream and all kinds of. It was a great fucking show. They actually had
this.
They
still play?
I know.
Damn it.
They would have this thing called, and there's video of it too. But they would have little stage antics. They had this leaf blower that had paper mache around it to look like a penis and balls. And then from the head, they put a little spool on it and would put toilet paper, and then it would spray toilet paper jizz all over the audience and stuff. It was a great show. Yes. It was a great fucking show. But I don't know, that made me think of that.
Yeah,
it was a great fucking show. You can still find some of their songs on YouTube. There's a song called Two Girls, One Cup, which is pretty good. There's Kill You and Fuck Your Boyfriend. There's Glory Hole. Lots of that funny, nasty shit.
Yeah.
They're a
I
fun.
like that funny nasty shit.
Yeah, they're a fun band. Did you ever pick up a guitar?
Yeah. Several times.
And just nothing.
Yeah, I just didn't understand that you had to practice. I was like, "Oh, I can't play."
Story of my life.
Yeah. I still have a guitar. Like, I bought one again like 3 years ago and was like, "I'm gonna play," and it's still.
And every once in a while, you look at it.
Yeah, well, actually, my roommate really likes it, and he started playing,
right.
And so I'm like, "Oh, that makes you happy. Cool,
right.
cool."
Right.
I don't know. Maybe I need like lessons. Maybe I need them. Maybe I just am never gonna play.
Right. Well.
Maybe I haven't found my instrument.
Maybe.
Maybe I'm really a
violin
guitar player.
A guitar. You would be. You would actually. You could be the world's first or probably second comedian who plays the guitar on stage.
So you think I should get back into comedy?
No, I'm just saying it sounded like you wanted to.
Oh,
and maybe you could get up. Well, yeah, you said so.
Oh, okay. I wasn't listening.
But maybe you could, like, when you say a joke and then just press a button that's like, ha ha ha, or like say a joke and then play like, like on the
key
on
jar.
the Casio. You understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. I do. Yeah.
So you started to get better at the derbying, and it felt good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What about it felt good? Was it like a similar, like the mosh thing where it's like, fuck this, I'm going to beat this fucking person's ass?
Have you played sports before?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like that where it's like it's fun and competitive and you're having a good time and,
okay.
you know.
Oh, yeah, it's competitive. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah. Like, I got to travel and play all around. And,
shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's like different leagues and things like that.
Yeah. And there's tournaments. Yeah.
What was your name?
Kimfectious.
Kimfectious. I do enjoy that.
Mm-hmm.
Did you also do like rockabilly makeup and shit like that? And
No.
Thanks for coming on. Jesus.
Was that mean? Like what?
No.
Why am I getting kicked out for that?
It feels good to me. It feels good to my soul. I have a shirt.
It feels good.
You said it feels good to what were you saying? You're saying something about derbying felt good.
I mean, all of it feels good. Like
right.
You're roller skating and getting exercise, and you get to learn how to hit people, and like.
Right.
It's just fun.
Yeah.
It's very time consuming. You have to do all this stuff all the time. Cause it's like the raddest part about it is like, it's like it's skater owned and operated. So it's like everything that we do, we're doing it. But then it's also like, we're doing all this,
so there's no money making. There's no,
right.
Even if you do people who get championships ever get any money? Or I
mean, you get sponsorships, like people can get like skate sponsorships or pads or helmets, whatever, like all that stuff. And then some people have made it into a career, like they go into like, oh, I'm gonna make roller skates now. And so there's a lot of people who have made it a career, but the average like roller derby skater is paying a lot of money.
Right.
You're not really making money.
Right.
And then it's like you have to cross train. You have to do, you know what I mean? There's all this stuff. So it just like takes over your life.
I was told that racing's a lot like that. Where like if you're all the way at the top, you get money. You're not all the way at the top, but if you're in a higher league, you get money. Or whatever. But there's such a burn. Anywhere beneath that, there's such a burn of the money and time you put into practice and you put into the car and you put into driving the car, because you can't drive the car. You have to rent a bed and bring the fucking car out there, and you also all the gas and not just the actual race car, but in your truck in order to bring the fucking car up to goddamn Northern California, and you go in. It's such a time consuming thing that it burns and burns and burns money.
Well, and I think that's just how it is for any hobby, right? Like if it's a hobby, you're spending money. If it's a career, you make money, right?
Right.
Everybody who's playing basketball is spending money until you get to the NBA, you know?
I feel like this is kind of a goddamn hobby. It's bullshit. I know people are supporting themselves. Oh, go to patreon.com/conservative. Cocksuckers. But like, I know people are supporting themselves doing this, but it also is money. It's like, you know what I mean? And not just that, but like, okay, I'm doing these shows, and I'm not saying I'm not going to have a fucking blast tonight. You know what I mean? I'll get to flirt with some girls, and I'll get to, it feels good, and maybe they'll...
that shirt, you will.
Fuck you. With this shirt, all I have to do is just whip it out and just, hey, hi. But there's such a, it is to an audience's perspective, and I've been that guy, like, where it's just like, oh, this person is here at the show. Oh, that's nice. Like there's not as much value, I think, put in. Oh, this person spent a lot of time to not just practice this, but like versus the amount of hours it takes to play. Yeah, I'm playing for maybe 2 hours total, 2.5 hours total, and making a couple $100, and that's nice. But that's nothing in compared to the amount of hours I've had to practice those songs and the years it took me to perform in open mic after open mic after open mic for fucking free, for minus free, you know what I mean, just to get to the point where I'm, you know what I mean? It is a pain in the fucking ass. And yet, and I'm also that same guy where like I don't want to pay for that album. Are you out of your fucking mind? You know, here's $10 to Spotify or $10 to SoundCloud. Now I have unlimited of that album. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're the only
weird.
artist that this has ever happened to. No one else has been through this. I don't.
Well, I'm explaining it to the
Picasso.
Did you watch that Picasso movie? I haven't watched it.
No.
There was, I guess, Antonio Banderas was.
Oh.
Do you like Antonio Banderas?
I like saying his name, Antonio.
What kind of dudes do you normally go for?
What kind of dudes do I normally go for?
Well, that's a loaded question, isn't it? Or
I was just thinking about everyone I've ever slept with, and I was like, I don't know what the pattern is
right.
here.
Maybe they're masochistic or something. No, what? Maybe it's. Yeah, I don't know.
A lot of them are musicians.
Mm-hmm. Any roller derby fans, like guys who are just like fucking super into roller derby? Because those goes from an outsider's perspective, those guys would probably be creeps.
No.
Right.
No.
Meaning they are creeps, or they?
No, I
they
mean,
don't
I never,
exist, or?
I never slept with any of them.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I know, like, I guess it's maybe a different perspective of things, but like, I know what I normally go for, but I don't.
What do you normally go for?
Like, I've talked about it on the podcast. Like, I like white girls. Like, there's something about, you know what I mean? And maybe it's just the 40
porcelain skin.
40. No, I don't know what it is. But there's just something about it. I think it is a natural thing where it's just like, I'm attracted to, definitely subs. But more, I'm attracted to like a skinny white girl for some reason. Just, and I've talked about it on the podcast too. Like, I'm super. I can be absolutely into black girls or Mexican girls or whatever. Usually, like, I would go for like, there's a whole lot of my personality coming up. So just buckle in. But like, I would go for like a white 6 over a black like 8. You know what I mean? Like, there's something about what I like, and you got to be honest with what you like. You know what I mean? What do you normally go for in that realm?
I like danger.
So you, in what way?
You know what I'm really attracted to is like someone who never calls me.
Yeah.
What did you say? Are you emotionally unavailable? Let's play chase. I will find you in the night.
Right. Or I will wait a week and then text you, even though you didn't text me back. They're like,
you don't know me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird because I'm currently on a sex break. Like, I decided
voluntarily.
Yeah, I was like, because, well, I think I tried to cure my codependency with polyamory, and I don't think that actually works because it just gets way more confusing.
Yeah.
I thought that was going to be funny, but you thought it was really real.
No, I'm saying I relate to it. So, like, here's what I'm saying. Like, I was big poly guy and, like, marched to that marching song for a long time. And then my last relationship, like, serious relationship, we were on and off poly for a while. And then I just, at a certain point, like, the weirdness became to the, like, okay, you can just try to mentally get, and, maybe do some, writing about it or some praying about it to try to get out of the jealousy or get out of the awkwardness or get out of the complication.
Right.
But at a certain point, I was in that instance at that time, I was like, I feel like the idea of polyamory became more important to me than the actual, like, the identity of I'm a fucking, let me fuck whoever the fuck I want, became more important than what I actually wanted.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Well, to me, like, I like dating poly people who are into like, let's talk about everything and like be very open and like the communication is awesome, you know. And I'm even one of those people, like if somebody I'm sleeping with is telling me about somebody that they slept with, like I can get off on that, like that can, you know what I mean? Like
good girl.
I love calm down shit. Calm down.
I still have my shirt on. Don't worry. So
you know what I mean? So
yeah,
it's like I like all of that,
right?
But I think that I can easily get wrapped up in other people's stuff. And I'm like, what are you doing? Let's do your stuff. And then I'm like, why am I unhappy? Oh, because I stopped doing everything that I like.
Right. And there are also motherfuckers, and I've been that motherfucker before, who hide out in that, who can be like, because I know there's certain different, whatever works for you, whatever works for it, you know, but like the whole not communicating thing, because there are some people who like want to know everything,
right?
And then there's some people who set up the relationship where like
right.
I don't
so
want to hear anything about it, and
right.
I'm not going to tell you about it,
right?
But then it still comes out because you're like, oh, they're not texting back for a certain amount of time.
Yeah, like that shit drives me crazy because that's worse. That's worse than like like that.
Knowing.
That to me feels like cheating because it's like, okay, I know that we made this agreement that we can sleep with whoever. But our relationship shouldn't be like, oh, there's like these long periods of time where I'm not telling you where I am or what I'm doing or what, you know, like then that's like secretive and weird. And like my head makes up some really good stories. So I'll, you know, just like run with it. And that drives me fucking crazy.
Right. My imagination is way worse than the actual reality.
Oh, yeah, totally. And then I'm like mad that that's all it was because in my head they were like,
no, I just went out on a date and like kissed this girl, and you're like, he's fucking her against him, you know, and they're just getting married.
He's at an orgy right now. Why?
Yeah. And I've also I was with a girl who later on she was honest with me about it, but at the time she would use, you know, and I did it in my own way, but use poly as a way of. Use jealousy in a way to make me not be, you know what I mean? To manipulate me backdoor into not being poly. So she would be like, you know, she would intentionally like, I would say, so, you know, so what are you doing? Oh, I'm you know, and she, instead of coming up with a lie, she would just, oh, I'm, I don't know. You know, where like there would be this weird, I can't think of a better example than that, but there would be this weird.
Because you're not telling me anything. No. There's no information. But so she would like use going on a date with somebody else to try to make you jealous. So then hopefully you would be like, you know what, this poly thing isn't working. Right. Let's just see each other. Right. Yeah. See, you know what I'm into? Honesty. And what I'm not into is like weird manipulative shit. And I do it too. Like I know you know, like we all do it. We all do it. But you gotta you know, like.
But there's
degrees. There's
degrees to it, and usually when I'm a bit of a you know, talked about it, like God bless any woman who's ever dated me, because one of my defects of character, you might say, is that I can be, you know, I can use other ways to be like punishing in certain relationships or you know, make a girl feel bad, and I don't often realize it until like she tears up, and then I'm like, fuck, you know, God damn it. But one of the ways out of that is to, if I'm in that relationship, if I tell you my weapons, it gets harder to use them. So like, you know what I mean? Like if after the fight I go, here's what I actually was doing. Right. Then next time I do that, she can go, is this what you're doing? And then it's like, fucking yes. You know what I mean? I didn't, you know, it gets harder to do that. But you also have to have the maturity enough to give a fuck to at least be introspective and trying to be self-honest. Right. You know what I mean? There was someone I was talking to yesterday, and she was dating this guy, and then he told her, you know what? He found out something about her, and he's like, I don't think I can date you because my ex-wife had that same issue. And it was like, you know, and the guy had gotten divorced from that ex-wife 13 years prior. It's like, hang on, 13 years have gone by and you haven't got over it? You know what I mean? Like that's a heavy, you know what I mean? And I was talking to her, I was like,
maybe he really hasn't. If he's attracting someone
for sure.
Who has done the same thing, then obviously he's doing
There's a pattern there, right?
Right.
But it's like, one of the things I told her is like, that to me, I'm not attracted to somebody who doesn't have, who 13 years later would still not be over what that ex-wife, that she relapsed, as an example, on drugs and alcohol. Like 13 years have gone by and you haven't, done whatever introspective spiritual work on yourself,
right,
to be able to, like, I want somebody who's, like, what I actually want does matter here, and I hadn't thought about it, you know what I mean? And I was telling her that, like, well, maybe you don't want somebody who's stuck in 13 years ago, you know what I mean? And she was like, yeah, that's a good, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I've had this identity thing about, like, I'm going to be super into pop, that I'm not a man enough. I'm not a man unless I'm fucking a bunch of girls at the same time, and like I see these other people, and I do pretty well for myself, but I'm like, I compare myself to other dudes and think like, okay, if they're, like, I was talking to her about it, I was like, and she was like, well, Pete, you're not an asshole, you know what I mean? And I'm like, yeah, but, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I'm an asshole in my own way, but not, like, you can be, like, I'm also warm and kind, you know what I mean? I'm not trying to, like, talk myself up. All I'm saying is, I have this idea of my identity in my head. I should be this. This is what a sexual ideal for myself looks like.
Right.
And I'm not a man, or I'm not, unless I'm doing that. Right. But at the same time, those dudes who are doing that are fucking douchebags. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not a douchebag. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah. No, I get that. Well, and I think, yeah. And I think that you can have both. I think that you can now be a douchebag and sleep with whoever you want,
Of course. But it's just funny how, like, in my head, I'm like, well, yeah, but I don't know. I was too this with that, or I was too, the identity versus reality and what I actually want, So with that, when I was in that relationship and I was like, I think the identity of being poly became more important than actually what I wanted. And so we had that conversation. We changed up the relationship. And there also has been times where I want to be poly because I don't want to be with this person. Mm-hmm. And I'm not honest with myself enough to know that.
Right. Right.
Much less tell that person about it.
Yeah. Sometimes I think I'm just too open-minded because I'll just say yes to whatever. Right. And then I'm in it. Like, I've dated men, women, like people who identify as not having, you know what I mean? Like,
sure.
I've dated all different kinds of people, and I feel like there's been times in my life where I've really identified with being queer, or really identified with being poly, or really, but I feel like it's also kind of like religion, where I can see like there's certain aspects of like certain things that like, I'm like, yes, I like this and this, but I'm not like that guy. You know what I mean? I'm not a Christian, or I'm not a Buddhist.
Right.
But sure, I could see how meditation is cool and being nice to people is cool. You know, like.
I'm down with the loaves and fishes, but I'm not. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. I was, so I've been in the kink community, lots of different times and different aspects of it. But like, I was going back. I was on a website. I feel like I should.
I was on the dark net.
I feel like I should delete my profile now. But I was on a certain website, and I was looking up different events and stuff because I'm like, you know what? Yeah, let me see what the perverts are up to. Because I still live like a pervert, but I don't go to like the parties and shit. So I was like, all right, let me go and go to a hangout. And I went to one hangout, and it was like, yeah, everybody here's like, okay, they're open. They're open about their dorkness or their pervertedness, but they're also kind of corny. Like there's a lot of people in the BDSM community who kind of are like, they're just they're not like
where they hold. Well, it's like when you hold on to a thing as your identity,
right?
Then you kind of become a caricature of yourself. Caricature. That word's hard.
I'm proud of you.
You know, where it's like if you're like, I'm a dom and that's who I am, then it's like, no, you were still like a layered person with like all these aspects to your life, you know. But it just like when people are like so gung ho about one thing, it freaks me out a little bit, you know.
And I've also seen doms who like for some reason they think they're doms, but like because they technically know how to use a whip.
Right.
Like, sorry, but like,
yeah,
you couldn't dom fucking anybody. I don't need.
Well,
I don't need any fucking paraphernalia. You know what I mean? Like that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, and I don't think that everybody understands that. They're like, but I bought this stuff, so I'm the guy now. You know, and it's like, I don't need your message that's like, I'm gonna spank the shit out of you. It's like, no, if you actually wanted to have that relationship, you would build that relationship with me and like as a person, and not just come out with that.
Right. Or there are guys who I've seen who are, you know, they hide, you know, and I don't think they're lying intentionally.
Right.
I think and it's easy in that community to say to each other the same things, you know, like safe, sane, and consensual. Like, you know, I was talking about it on another episode. Yeah. It's like choking a bitch till she passes out is not safe. Like, I don't need to, like, you know, it's consensual, but, you know,
right.
I don't want to
I don't know. I mean,
put it in every box
that
the community deems as, you know, a certain box, you know what I mean? And I've seen doms or people who call themselves, you know, I can switch. Like, I think you're just insecure because you don't want to just be a bottom, you know what I mean? Like, and so, you know, I've seen that where it's just like, you know, cutie pie, just be a bottom. It's okay. You know what I mean? Like, just be honest with yourself. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I don't know.
But then I also, like, I consider myself a switch and a bisexual. And
I feel like it's different for...
No, but I feel like it's like those people do exist. We do exist.
I never said they didn't.
I'm just saying. Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah, no, I think we're both right.
Right.
Yeah.
No, I agree.
Be yourself and fuck who you want to fuck, and you know
absolutely.
what I mean?
Right, but when it's, I think it's easier for a guy, as an example, you know, the examples that I think about anyway, when it comes to that, it's easier to hide out because it's like, well, now the community, I have this identity in the community where like I'm this guy now, you know what I mean, and I have to be this versatile or this switch or this dom or whatever, and I now it's like it's my thing now, you know what I mean, and obviously there's a lot of people who can, I don't know, you know what I'm saying, like where the identity becomes more important than the actual truth about they're not being honest, just like I haven't and you haven't, and you know everybody has.
Oh yeah, totally, and for sure. And I just think that it's like it's part of their growing process, and they'll either get out of it or they won't, you know. Right. And some people are just idiots, and I don't like them. And I just
did you go to? Stay home. We gotta start wrapping up because you gotta get out of here soon. But
okay.
Did you go to Folsom?
Not this year. Yeah. I got punched in the face on a bus a couple months ago, and it just made me very weird about being outside at social events, you know?
Right.
Like this year I got robbed, and then I got my bike stolen, and then I got punched in the face all within like 3 months of each other.
Fuck.
So I just like, you know, like last night I was at a metal show, and by 10:30 I was like, okay, there's too many people here breathing too close to me, and I have to go now.
Right.
You know, like it just, it's been a rough year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did they get the guys who did that?
No. But I also didn't call the police because I was just more concerned that my face was bleeding, and then I thought I should just go to the hospital, and so I just like got off the bus and went. You know what I mean? Like it just, it was like if like looking back on it, yes, I probably should have called the police. I probably could have sued Muni. Who knows? Right. But like in the moment, I was just like, oh, my head's bleeding. I should go get stitches. You know. If
you don't mind me asking a little bit, was the guy trying to rob you?
No, it was two guys fighting each other, and my face just got in the way. Like, they weren't intentionally trying. I think that's part of the reason why I didn't call the cops, too, is, like, I was just trying to get off the bus, and they were fighting each other. And so it wasn't even, like, they weren't even attacking me. Right. But it still has fucked me up. Like, I'm still, like, all PTS about it. But
right. Yeah. That fucking sucks. I don't like that shit. That's one of those things where it's like... It's not. It bothers me, like when a guy hits a girl, even if obviously it's not intentionally that time or whatever, but it just fucking bothers me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think anybody hitting anyone sucks.
Sure.
But you know, yeah.
But even those two guys were volunteering to have that fight.
Right. They were fighting together, and then my face was like, "Hey, I offered tribute."
Did you see who won the fight?
I have no idea. I don't even care. And like, what is winning?
Yeah.
You know, I don't know.
Yeah, I guess whoever. Yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about that too. Like, I don't know. Whatever. I'm not gonna go off on a fucking rant because we gotta wrap up anyway. But yeah, that fucking sucks. Maybe I think that probably happens a little less in San Jose than San Francisco.
Oh, that's good.
Right? I mean, I've been on public transportation in San Jose as well as San Francisco, and there's less crazy shit in San Jose.
Yeah, well, that's because not that many people actually ride the bus in San Jose.
Right.
Because it just takes forever to get anywhere.
It fucking
and
does.
Also, it's, yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to buy me a car out there, if you're listening and happen to have $1 million.
Right. Well, cars are not that expensive, but.
That's true, but I just meant like for somebody to just have an extra car out there, maybe they would have more money.
So you want a good car?
No. I just meant I didn't want somebody to have to go out of their way, like they're giving too much. Like they would be like, you know, like they would be put out.
So gracious.
Such a gracious. So racist. Gracious receiver, beneficiary.
I don't fucking know. I'm not a smart boy. So do you have anything to? Obviously, you don't have. I guess you don't have anything to plug, but
I made this excellent snail farm over here.
There's a fucking farm now. Jesus Christ! You know, I'm just gonna. I mean, if you don't take it, I'm gonna sweep it into the trash. I'm just saying.
I'm not gonna keep it. It's just paper. This was just to keep me entertained.
So they're not actually snails. Okay. Well, can people find any of your
They can
YouTube?
follow me on Instagram if they want. No,
Ooh.
I erased everything off of YouTube. I work with children, so I think it's better if my,
right,
you know,
right, identity like or your jokes.
Yeah, well, for a little bit I had, you know, some kind of racy stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm a really good person and really professional, so none of that matters.
Right. And I appreciate that, you know, again.
Shout out to all the employers Googling me right now.
Well, I was going to give this chick a car, but now that I've heard that. And plus, I only have $999,000, so I won't give her a car. Thank you very much for coming on.
Thanks for having me, man. Super fun.
Yeah, this was fun, and I hope you enjoyed Feel free to have that cheese stick.
Thank you.
And ladies and gentlemen, go to patreon.com/conservatish. Shower me with your money and praise. Leave a review on iTunes and Google Play and YouTube, anywhere, because Daddy needs the money. And I'll see you guys later.